All right, and we are live. So welcome everyone. As always, for those of you, it looks like the audio is running. Those of you who don't know, usually how this works is I don't have time to go through and answer every single individual's comments, questions, concerns for the last video. However, we had technical difficulties from the last video, so sadly I ended up just deleting it altogether. I'm going to hopefully try and do a redo on Monday. If not, I'll just basically skip Monday's videos, do Wednesdays, because the winners haven't reached out to me, so I don't know if they necessarily found out that they won, or I can just make a general announcement about it, whatever. But I had some people telling me that there was a huge amount of lag during the video, which is so bizarre that I was having that issue. Super bummed out, so I just didn't want to post the video because I was like, all right, well, or I didn't want to just keep it up for that reason. But with that being said, just a generic title, Pokemon talk, what's going on, and yeah, let's just get things rolling, guys. What's up? Scratch 'em. John, how we doing? Coolest Shy, Pika, hopefully all of you as well. The last video sounded really soft. Well, it's not even that the video sounded soft is what I was hearing. I was hearing complaints about the fact that the video itself just kept lagging, like it kept glitching. And so the actual like video that we were going to be like Monday's video was me going over my like rankings in the Sun and Moon era, and then as well as that telling you guys what my favorite sealed product is, which, I mean, if you want me to, I can briefly go over what that is if you guys are interested in. Well, I'm glad you liked it. I'm definitely bummed it was freezing. So, I mean, yeah, you do what you can do, you know? So, definitely frustrating. Ooh, bulk lots. Wow. But yeah, so if you guys, I mean, for those people that don't know, like I said, ranking every single Sun and Moon era set. And then once I finished ranking every Sun and Moon era set as I was going through, I also as well put in the, like, each era or each set had a different item to invest in specifically. The volume was really soft. Okay, so that's weird, because the video before I like could hear the soft volume, and so when I edited, I turned it up. But this time around, when I recorded it, I straight up was on like max volume on my screen, and I actually turned myself down. So it sounds like other people are still having that issue, so I'll have to try and find a way to fix it or adjust it. But that's man, that's annoying. I'm sorry, guys. Any idea about the Evolving Skies reprint will go out for Europe, or is it only US? The Evolving Skies reprint, I mean, it's different per like country, so I'm gonna assume it's probably not the same. So I know there's a confirmation in the US, no clue about in Europe. But to be fair, there was rumors that started with a reprint in Europe and then led into the United States, so it's potentially possible. There can be a correlation, at least a causation. Do you think it's a good time to buy all Astral Radiance alt arts? Definitely not. Now is probably a terrible time. You never want to buy them after a new set comes out initially. You want to wait after multiple reprints. So Astral Radiance is a set that, I mean, as we've seen with the competitive format, the Palkia has been extremely viable. And so it has me to believe that basically, here, let's go high to low. Palkia. So this one, the Origin Form Palkia, has been just used non-stop in competitive decks. So, I mean, obviously the price hasn't really shown that. I mean, to be fair, it hasn't like dropped drastically compared to some other cards. But I mean, this card is used in every deck, and my guess is that it's gonna be fine. And they're as long as this stays competitively viable, they're going to probably have a print down the line of this set to make sure that they can push down the price of the cards. The volume is soft right now. The volume is soft as of right now. Why? That is so confusing. Why is the volume soft now? Is there some sort of setting? Because I'm literally looking right now, and it says my volume is like pushing towards the red zone. Here, let me see. So when I get closer, it's good. Hold on one second. What do I have this under? Boom mic? Volume seems okay. Can I go above 100? Yeah, that's, I don't know. I guess I need to step away more this way. And like line up my camera with myself this way. These people need to turn up their speakers. I mean, I don't know, man. If it's consistent with other people, the only thing I can potentially think as to why, and so my microphone's on this side, and also like in the backdrop, you can see my bed more than you can my product when it's facing this way. So like if you're looking at the camera this way, right? Oh, well, too far. But if you're looking at the camera this way, you can see the Pokemon product I have in the background. But if I want to be in a clear shot, I have to be over here. So if I want to do it the other way, for example, you can see my bed, which is not the intention here. Like, you want to see more of the product. And not to mention the fact of the matter, since if you're looking at more of the product, I have to be more this way versus more this way is where you're going to hear the volume better. And it's funny too, because I've been told I talk extremely loud, so I'm trying my best. Is base set unlimited Charizard in good condition for 200 a good investment? I mean, it's definitely a solid buy for 200. I don't know what good condition is though. Like if you switch from Deep Pocket Monsters channel to Eli, it's a huge volume difference. I know exactly what you mean by that, Pika. Like when you just go from one channel to another, that's why you're like, oh, I have to turn it up. No, like I said before, it's probably because I'm transitioning sides. Hopefully this is better. Would you say Celebrations is a point to buy singles? I feel good. I feel the Gold Mew Shining Magikarp Gold Star Umbreon will age well. I don't think it is. I think we had this conversation last time actually. And the reason why I don't think it is because there's not going to be an off-cross point where... Please don't force me to log in. Damn it! This didn't happen last time. Alright, so... Close. So if we go to the population report for Celebrations, and we go to Classic Collection, we can see that the population report right now on the Shining Magikarp's 373. So here's my philosophy, guys. This is just my personal opinion. The fact of the matter is, they just dropped PSA prices to $30. End of year, they're probably going to go anywhere between 15 to 25 is my guess. They're going to drop it down even more. With that being said, if you're telling me right now, let's go to Pokedata. And then let's go take a look at Celebrations, Classic Collection. So, raw Shining Magikarp's around 16 bucks. PSA 9 Shining Magikarp. Stuff's making me log in everywhere and I don't like it. Yeah, let's go back. So if you're telling me that the value of the 9, which sold for, what was this, a week ago, for $34, and you're saying that the raw card is selling for around, you know, 14, 15, 16 bucks, and the 10 is selling for 105, I'm just saying that there's going to eventually be a disconnect as more and more get graded and hit 9s, where the value of the 9 is going to be worth the same as raw. And so for me, that basically leaves me to believe that raw is going to have to go down if that's going to happen. Because then at what point is it worth buying raw if you can just get a PSA 9 for cheaper? Like, that doesn't make sense. And with grading fees being $30 right now, you know, eventually transitioning it down to $20, $10, or not 10, definitely never 10 again, 15, 20, it still wouldn't make sense after grading fees to send it in. Clean shaven, now I see looking good, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I do like once a month shave. I like let it grow out, clean it up like once every other week, and then shave. Also, just to clarify, you think if you're going to grade Ultra Modern, you go with BGS? I would definitely agree. Yes, 100%. 100%. And like I said, if you guys want to see, I have my... Hold on a second. I have my list of cards, if you guys want me to do a video on it, of the cards that I'm planning on sending into PSA. So, like, I've got a list of cards that I'm like, alright, I want to send it in. Specifically, if that's a cool video you guys would want to see. Because I've got some pretty cool cards that I'm going to send in. But, like, those are the main ones on the front. I have mainly just Diamond and Pearl. I just bought a CGC 9.5 Celebi Magic card for $30. Felt good about that. Hey, man. Right on. What's up, Derek? How we doing, brother? Thanks for stopping by. Glad to see you here. What's up, Hash? We have so much wannabe grading companies in Europe. How is it that with the USA? We definitely have some. I mean, you've got A-Drive has his grading company. Obviously, Graded Gem had one theirself with Randolph. I don't see the purpose of it. The grading companies, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I don't see it. It's kind of like people start. It's kind of like people starting their own sports drinks. You're like, there comes a point where the like market is oversaturated. Just not it, in my personal opinion. But yeah. Also, another thing as well, there has been like very little Pokemon news. Like, it is crazy to me how nothing's been going on. Like, if we go to Pokebeach, for example, the last article I think they posted, I mean, last time I checked. Okay, so yeah, they have Lost Origins, but we already knew about this, so it's nothing special. Sure, it's cool that they've got a TCG holiday calendar. But that's not big, like, that's not news, really, you know what I mean? Like, no new set cards released, no new reprint news released. Like, just the same old garbage. And we take a look at sealed product, and it's just like, okay, nothing eventful is happening. Would love to see a video of showing off your personal favorite singles. Oh yeah, I could totally do a video of that. I mean, like I said before, I'm just sitting on a bunch of singles that I'm really excited to send into PSA. So, looking over them, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. Once I get enough disposable money built up, I would definitely like to pick up an older booster box to open for fun. Nothing crazy expensive. My budget would probably be 1K or so. You know, it's funny you say that, one guy. So, for those who don't know, part of my personal collection is the Majestic Dawn booster box. And I got a good deal on it. I got it for $5,500. And I think the market for it is around $7,500 to $8K-ish. In the condition that I have it in, it's case fresh. And it's one of these things where it's like, I predict that prices on a lot of these products are going to start dropping. So I'm like, all right, I want to sell it. But also at the same exact time, It's one of these booster boxes, since it's in the Diamond and Pearl era, and since I did get such a good deal, that I almost want to open it and just like weigh all the heavies, open the heavies, and then just get those cards graded and then sell off the lights. Because for me, like, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, with the population report on a lot of the Diamond and Pearl stuff, you hit 10s on any of these cards, like, you could walk away with anywhere between 500 to 3K. Like, I know a guy lined up right now where if I pull the Leafeon Hollow from that set in a, like, PSA 10, and of course, you know, it's speculative that you're going to get a 10. But I know a guy who, on average, half of his hollows get 10s. And so it's like, you know, you hit a Leafeon, you get your 3K, you sell your hollow, your lights, that's another 3K, and then any of your other hits, you know, level X gets a 9, gets a 10, depending upon which one. I mean, you know, Leafeon in a 10, you're talking about, you know, hopefully walking away with, you know, 7 to 10K, Glaceon, you know, 5 to 6, Garchomp 3K. Like the profitability rate, I think for me, if I were to just hit a 10 on any of the big ones, I mean, even the low side cards. I mean, low side cards are going for, you know, 500 plus on 10. So just get a couple of those. So for me, I guess the point I'm trying to make with this is my justifying right now to open it is, it's very strong, dude. I really want to open it. And so I'm like trying to talk to my friends about like, hey, like I want to like pull profit on this box. So if you guys are interested in buying into like a booster box break, that'd be fun if we did that. And then we would send off the cards to be graded, and then we would flip whatever we got. That way I feel like I pulled some cash, but also at the same exact time, I still was able to open it and enjoy the fun of opening it. You know what I mean? Because it's like one of these things. It's one thing if you put your box up for a booster box break and you get to experience like opening it. It's another if you get to experience opening it with your friends, and then on top of that as well, you also send in the cards for grading and then go through the whole process, you know? Like, it's completely, I don't know, it's a fun process in my opinion, like pulling the card, anticipation of waiting for the grade, etc., but I don't know, it's an expensive set, so, you know, technically there, of course, is risk. Can you do a run through of releases for the next 3 months? Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, as far as product goes, the run through that we have right now is there's still an expectation that Brilliant Star reprint's going to happen sometime end of the month. Next expectation after that is going to be that reprint in August. Okay, actually, hold on. Backing it up. Yeah. So, reprint end of the month for Brilliant Star. Sometime in July 1st, we're July 1st, we're going to be having a Pokemon Go set release. Then August, to my knowledge, in early August, obviously, we're having a reprint for Evolving Skies. And then September 9th, we're going to be having a Lost Origins release. And then I think it's November, if I'm correct. It's November, December. We're going to have the release for the new shiny set. Let's take a look. So it releases in October in Japan. All right, so December 2nd. There you go. So that's the ordering, and I'll keep you guys updated as we go. But I can definitely make one of those videos for sure. I mean, I just went on a rundown of it, but I'll make a video of it. Are you familiar with SGC grading? I felt like the price was low enough. I grabbed an SGC Celebration Gold Mew for $65. Looked mint for that price. I expect to regrade that card in a profit. The only thing I would say is that for me, it's really hard. First and foremost, I mean, SGC is reputable, but it's not known for specifically Pokemon. It's known for sports cards. My biggest like gripe with that kind of stuff is the crossover a lot of the times. Like I've heard so many reports of people crossing over, you know, CGC in the slab or SGC in the slab 10 and then going over to PSA and then it coming back 9s or lowers. The only time I've heard of any sort of, you know, good, you know, good crossover grades is when they crack open the slab, because there's no sense of bias on knowing what the grade is. But then there's been bad instances where they've cracked open the slab and not gotten anything. So it's really hard. It's like, it's one of those strategies where you can do, it's very risky, and it can definitely like pay off really well. But yeah, it's a hard one for sure. Yo, what's up, Nate? Thanks for stopping by, brother. You know what I don't see on YouTube? Masterpiece videos at the beginning of the, or master price videos. The beginning of the master set, is it worth more than after a few months after release? A full modern master set video misses right now. I can try and come up with that sort of content. Honestly, guys, I am all open to like people giving feedback for content on what you think I should post about. So if you want to message me directly on Discord, I will respond. I'll have a conversation with you about what to like kind of produce content on. Like, you're like, Eli, you should make a video doing this, this, and this, and this. I am all open for it, man. I'm probably going to buy CP6 box in a bit. Or Legendary Treasures. Koga. Koga out here just trying to ball. And man, its prices are dropping. One thing I wonder is, it considered scummy to sell off your light packs. It's only considered scummy if you sell them off as light and then call them unweighted. So like when I sell off my packs, like let's say I sell packs on eBay, what I do is I always take a picture of the pack on the scale and say weighted for full transparency, so people know the weights. So that way you know exactly the weight is of it. Because like I can tell you that I think a pack's a light, and you know, I'm pretty educated on that kind of stuff for Diamond and Pearl era, but there's truly no guarantee, because the weights for Diamond and Pearl, one thing people don't understand about them is there's different weights based off if it's from a booster box or from a blister. So like, for example, from Majestic Dawn, right? Average, and it changes too. So like an average weight for like a holo in Majestic Dawn is typically around the 18.5. However, some booster boxes, if you were to open a booster box, it could average that 18.4 is the holo rate, or some booster boxes 18.6. Like, it's all over the place based on your booster box. So there's like a typical range that you want to have. And then with that as well, the next point of it is, now you're talking about blisters. Well, I've had blisters where like straight up it'll be like Secret Wonders, right? And it'll be like, all right, the range of heavy is anywhere between 19.2 to 19.3, right? Or 19.17 to like 19.31, and then I'll get a pack from a blister that's like 18.95, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this is such a light, and I'll open it and it'll be a heavy, because it's from a blister pack and not from a booster box. And so like, it's all over the place. So that's why I feel like you can say, like, you can, if you want to, you can take a guess and say it's light, but for me personally, I prefer to just show the weight and then let people just transparently know, like, all right, this is the weight of the pack. It could be a heavy, it could be a light. Obviously, depending upon where it comes from is going to change it. So that's kind of what I would say. Just being as transparent as possible. Lalonzo, be honest, do you want to gamble to let someone else do it and not lose money? What do you mean by that, Lalonzo? I'm confused. Do you have any insight into Lost Origins being a good set? Yeah, so honestly, it's really hard at this point to say. If we just take a picture at some of the product for it that we know of right now, there is a Shining Gardevoir in the set, so that is confirmation. We saw that on the pack art. We know that there's going to be a, you know, Hisuian Gold V-Star card. And then there's going to be, honestly, dude, I'm not even gonna lie to you, like, I don't really give a crap about this Pokemon. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know, man. It's just not for me. But to answer your question on whether I think it's going to be a good one, I mean, Enamorus, like I said, not a fan of Enamorus. Gardevoir and Hisuian Zoroark, I think those are kind of cool. But honestly, I think Radiants are just not it. With the pull rates, I wish they were a little bit harder to pull. That would make it more fun to pull them. Because throwing out just shinies with like high pull rates is just not it, unless you're talking about one of these specialty sets. especially with the art designs for the Radiance. However, with that being said, we are going to get a V-Star Giratina, which will be really cool. And then since this is going to be coming and combining with some of the stuff from Dark Phantasma, we will be pulling over some cards from Dark Phantasma. Where are the secret rares for Dark Phantasma? We should have the secret rare list shown. I can't see. But we do have here Dark Phantasma secret rare list. Here, let me look this up. Dark Phantasma secret rare list. You guys can see a little bit off to the side, but obviously, you know, Parasect, that's probably not gonna, people aren't gonna care about that. People will love this Pikachu though. Gengar is gonna be a hit. Snorlax will probably be a hit. It depends on the rarity, honestly. Like how easy is it to pull. These kind of cards are gonna be eh. Then you've got the more rare, kind of lame that these are the more rare ones, but it's whatever. You know, the Zoroark I guess is cool, but I don't think it's one that's gonna carry the set. So the Dark Phantasma side looks okay. So it really is just going to come down to what the other side of it's going to be. Are we going to have alternate arts? My guess is yes. Who knows fully what it's going to look like. But yeah, no, I mean, as far as it goes, we're still waiting to hear on what Lost Abyss is going to have fully. Because Lost Abyss is going to be playing the main factoring of it all. It'd definitely be cool if it was like a Gengar V-Star set and like a Giratina V-Star set. I think that could really add value, but we do already, I mean, we have a Gengar VMAX, but we don't have a Gengar V-Star, so, you know, time will tell with that, but I'm optimistic, I will tell you, because of Giratina. I'm optimistic, but I don't know how much people love Giratina compared to myself, you know. Reprint Brilliant Star, is this for US only or also Europe? Only thing I've heard so far is there's more than likely going to be a reprint in the UK for Evolving Skies, because that's where we heard about Evolving Skies rumors reprint to begin with. As for the reprints for Brilliant, I've heard nothing about it for being in Europe. With good Giratina could come dope Garchomp cards. I mean, we already have a dope Garchomp card though. I mean, if we just go and take a look at the trainer gallery, I mean, this is a sick Garchomp card, dude. I love this Garchomp card. It's funny seeing how like the prices haven't really tanked that much because of the fact that this was a one print run. Interesting to see. There's a site that is taking Lost Origins pre-orders for $120 for a booster box. Have you been allocated any yet? Oh, definitely not. I mean, it's it's coming out in September, so I probably won't get my allocations for at least a month or two in advance. So best case scenario, I probably will see it sometime in the middle of July, but I highly doubt it. It won't be that early. Did you see the new Pokemon Beach article on the holiday calendar? Yeah, I actually just skimmed over that. We didn't fully look at it. I mean, we can take a look at it, but yeah, it's so far obviously it's only been listed for Europe, but we're expecting that it'll be released somewhere in the United States. But yeah, I'll be excited to see what it looks like, because yeah, I mean, this was the advent calendar they came out with in 2008, I want to say. Oh, well, there's that answer. I was like, I think it was 2008 is the last time. Yep, there it is. So, because this is a Glaceon Majestic Dawn promo. So, there's so many different prints of that one. So, that Glaceon has been both a Burger King promo, it has been a deck promo, and then also it's in a reverse holo slot and a regular rare slot in the Majestic Dawn set. So, something like this. That's the Burger King variation because it has the platinum stamp on it. If you can kind of see it, there's a platinum stamp right there. But yeah, no, I mean, this That Glaceon's been printed to death, but it has obviously different variations, so it'll give its different values. I definitely think it could be cool for sure. It's been a while since we've had an advent calendar. It's a holiday calendar, so it doesn't look like it's an advent calendar. I think it'd be cool if we had a Pokemon advent calendar, but I think it's cool. I think it'll be cool. But Tyrone, what's up, my guy? Thanks for stopping by. Gabriel, thank you both for stopping by. Hopefully all is well with you too. 30 peeps here. Give this man a like. I appreciate that. Do you think the reprint for Astral will be big based on the economy right now? Astral is a high competitive set, though. Thoughts? I think honestly, it's gonna really come down to how expensive the card prices are. Because here's the deal, guys. At the end of the day, if the booster boxes are expensive as heck, but the cards are super cheap, the Pokemon Company is not gonna reprint. They care more about the card prices than anything. So like if we take a look at, let's say, Vivid Voltage, for example. Vivid Voltage has already been printed into the ground, right? If you're talking about the value of the actual cards themselves, I mean, this Rayquaza has just been absolutely beat to death. At one point it was selling for like $50, and now it's down to like 3 or 4. This set is extremely cheap. Booster box prices have been going up though. So for that reason, it makes sense that they would just not reprint it anymore, especially because it's about to go out of rotation. They've already reprinted it so much. Astral Radiance, the booster box price, it's at 102. That's extremely cheap. So in their rationale, or in their minds, it's at 102. That's cheap. More people should be buying it. More people should be opening it. If you see that is not a price point at which people are wanting to buy in at 102, and we're seeing that there's not enough people that are buying, and so therefore not enough people opening, therefore print is, of course, or the supply of these cards is not going up, then it more than likely will lead to card prices going up. And then what will the Pokemon Company do in turn? They will print the cards to death so that they can become more affordable for people to not only collect but also compete with specifically. So that's my kind of rationale based off of what the Pokemon Company does. It's more based on that than the economy. They don't really take a look at the economy. They look at the competitive format. For the Diamond and Pearl box, you planning on opening it? I've thought about it. We're definitely let me put it to you this little. It's potentially going to happen. It's potentially going to happen. If it does, it would be like on live stream. I'd make it a big event, and then I'd have some friends come over and open it with me. But it's potential, so who knows? Would you say Celebrations is the best Ultramodern set to age best? If so, would you say its chase cards overall will also appreciate better of the sets? I definitely think, John, there's an argument to be made. It'll probably be one of the best accruing sets, just based off of what history has shown us, with like Generations, for example, being one of the best sets to invest in because it is one of these specialty sets. So I personally am on the same side as that argument. Now, as for the cards themselves accruing, I think that's a completely different argument, because if we go back and look at a set like Generations, here, let's pull it up on Pokedata. No, let's not do that. Let's not do that. If we go take a look at Generations, the set in and of itself, and the cards, I mean, like, it's hard to say that you haven't seen like value accrue if we do go look at the 10, but that is just because of everything that happened during COVID. But if you really just do the math on how much it went up, unless you got in at the very peak low of $23 and sold at the peak high, which that's a great return, don't get me wrong. For a while before the pandemic, the price was at a little bit higher of a premium. And for the most part, it was at around $100 to $50. And your rate of return on this card compared to some other ones, you could have made better investments. And that's on a PSA 10. If we're talking just raw on the card, I mean, let's just take a look at raw and see just how it's performed in the past year. It's been pretty stagnant. Now, we don't have full data on how it's performed in the past 10 years. Well, I shouldn't say 10, I should say 6. but since the inception, you guys get the point. It's really hard to look at the full data. We can only look at the PSA cards. But in my personal opinion, I have just reason to believe that from an investability perspective, it's just not there. That's just me personally, because the pull rates are higher, even though the supply on it is extremely low in PSA. Let's go back. Let's go back again. So population report. Whoopsie, Shining Magikarp popped up. Guess what? Guess we can't go back. Going back to generations. Nope, that's the Radiant Collection. Wow, Eli, you're having a fun day right now. If we just go take a look at the population report, we're talking about 415s and 10s. That's not, like, that's a decent amount. Or like, that's not... That's, like, a small amount in the grand scheme of things. And so you're saying to yourself, oh, wow, that's a pretty low pop for, like, XY era. But then if you, let's say, for example, go take a look at a different set in the XY era, right? Let's say, I don't know, maybe some Phantom Forces. And you look at this Dialga, for example, which has a pop 50. Obviously, the price is more expensive, but, like, this card has done nothing but accrue. And this is just within the past year. This isn't even talking about the inception of the card. And that's because it's got a lower pop, it's got a lower pull rate. So it's hard with specialty collections for me to justify investing in them, because for the most part, the cards are, there's an overabundance of these cards because the pull rates are so high on them. So that's just my personal opinion. Good afternoon, King. Do you deal with Japanese cards? Is there a Japanese card equivalent on TCG Player? I personally do not deal with a lot of Japanese cards. I have some from collections that I've bought a while ago, and I've just held on to Japanese cards. But to be quite frank with you, I can't really... I know there's some sites, if someone wants to help them out on it, there's some sites that are, you know... If we're talking singles, I'm trying to think of what they are. There are some singles that are blanking on the name of the sites, the best place to buy. I know the best place to buy sealed, but singles, it's a different situation. Someone wants to help them out on that. Something about the Celebi Gold Mew card is a great looking card that I think will be sought after to collect in time. Your thoughts on being a stamp outperforming card? On being a stand outperforming card. For me, obviously artwork does play a factor. You know, artwork is always going to play a factor. You know, what is the name of the card is always going to play a factor. So of course I do take these things into consideration. I guess for me, if you're talking about buying right now long term, this card is already at 1,239 in a pop report, and we just saw the price drop to $30 on PSA. So people were sending this in for $50, $100 to get it graded. And so the value of it in a PSA 10 right now is 148. The value of it in a PSA 9 is 69. If you're telling me that right now raw, the price to buy and grade is more expensive than just buying a 9 outright, and the price for a 10 is, you know, around that 140-ish price range, which your profit margins are, you know, double, don't get me wrong, but it's like $70. As it stands right now, just the amount in the population report for this card and the amount of cards that are going to be, you know, sent in for grading of this, it makes it really hard for me to justify saying that a lot of these super high population cards, super easy pull rate cards, are going to do extremely well over time. Of course, there's no guarantee. I could be completely wrong. We saw what happened with Generations, but it's a completely different situation nowadays from Generations because people weren't sending in cards to PSA as much as they, you know, were back then. So I think that I mean, there's an argument to be made that it will gain value because as demand increases over time, you hope that it will outpace, of course, supply. But for something like this that is extremely high pop, I'd much rather go the BGS route, which has a lot lower pop than PSA. If I'm being completely honest, guys, I'm not a huge fan of investing in PSA Ultra Modern cards, especially those that are, high pop. I mean, if it's a high demand card and it's low pop, then sure, but very rarely does that happen unless it's just a hard card to grade because of cut quality. Because it's literally just older, rarer, minter, better. I mean, it's kind of like what SM Pratt talks about. And you're not really going to see that a lot with ultra modern cards. So if you're talking about from an investability perspective, that's my kind of take. I mean, it's cool to own from a collectability, especially when you're saying how cheap a 10 is right now, and it'll probably get cheaper. I mean, I would be stunned if this didn't go sub 100 over the next year. And it'll probably go even cheaper than that. So, yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of ultra modern graded investing unless you're trying to, like I said before, go the route of mass sending into BGS in the hopes of pulling black labels. But even then, that's extremely risky. But yo, what's up, Tic Tac? How we doing, brother? Yo, what's up, Eli? What's up, Zach? What's going on with the Eevee Heroes gym box? It shot up quick in the last 2 months. Just a high demand card. More than likely just out of print. Because of Japan. I mean, very rarely does Japan do like actual large reprints unless it's like a specialty set. Kind of like what we saw with VMAX Climax recently. So I think the demand for it is just high as all could get out. Do you think that will drop, or should I get one before it's too late? I wouldn't FOMO in. If it's already at such a high premium, I don't see the point of FOMOing in now, especially considering we're going into a recessionary period, and you're probably going to see an effect of that hit sometime soon. Lalonzo, that Glaceon looks nice. Yeah, I love that Glaceon artwork. I think it's sick. Are you still saying that Arceus V-Box is by far the best current steel pickup? Yep. 100%. The only thing I would say that I have an issue with is just the storage component of it. If you have a large amount of storage, pick it up. But if you don't have a large amount of storage, then obviously I would suggest either only picking up a few or going a different route. But I just think it'll perform extremely well. What's up, Matt? How we doing? Digi's here too. Is everybody's Juniper Bach still breaking? Yep, 100%. Yeah, the adhesive glue on it, we noticed really quickly. It would just like fall apart. So it's definitely like you've seen this happen before. I think the Pikachu V-Box from Shining Fates was another one that did that. What do you think about the Celebrations Gold Star Greninja ETB promo? Already selling for 150 to 200. Looks impressive. That's sets. Let's take a look. These are XY promos. Oopsie. Wow. Huh. Interesting. Of course, the 9s. That's hilarious. I mean, shoot, man. There's definitely a disconnect in the value compared from a 10 to a 9, but here's a question for you. Look at the population report for 9s versus 10s. How often do we see that? Recently speaking, within this past, like, I don't know, Sun and Moon era, I want to say, to now, how often do we see cards where the population report very much shows that the 10s, there's more 10s in a PSA than 9s, right? I mean, let's go back to Pokédata, right? And if we just go back to what we were looking at a second ago, we were looking at the Shining Magikarp. Population for a 10 is 3 times more than a 9. With the Greninja, it's the exact opposite. With the Greninja, you're seeing the value of it hold relatively high because the PSA 10 population is lower than the overall 9s. Going back to it, 144. Yeah, so it's like 158 compared to 505. I mean, guys, if you can find a Greninja and you feel confident getting in a 10, because obviously it's very boom or bust. I mean, going back to it and taking a look, you're talking about the 10 value versus the 9. The 9's only worth, I mean, the 9's only worth $21 on recent sale. So that, I mean, that scares me a lot. Your floor is extremely low, so you don't have a good floor. Your ceiling's strong. I mean, you're talking about sending in $30. But here's the deal, guys. How many people do you think are willing to gamble and take that risk and say to themselves, 1 in 4 shot based on what, actually technically 1 in 3 shot is what the math kind of comes out to. You talk about 150 times, we're going to say 3.33 is what the math is checking it out at. That's about 500. Isn't that what we saw around 505? Yeah. So your odds are 1 in 3.33 that you're more than likely going to get it. You say it costs $2 to buy the card, so $32 is your fee plus whatever the shipping insurance is. We'll just add on an extra $3. Times that by 3, that's 105, right? Statistically speaking, your like hit rate on this card of a 10 compared to a 9, especially if you're sending this in mass grading and you're really like being like, because think about this, guys, if you're sending this card in and you're sending 100, right, and you're being very careful about the condition you're looking at, like you're looking through the card and you're saying, all right, this one's in good condition, this one's in good condition, etc., etc., you could potentially have a good return rate. My fear, and this is where the real risk comes into play, is just within this, past, I want to say, 6 months, card value went from 400 and it's just been absolutely tanking. So who's to say that within the next year or so, you couldn't see this just continue to tank downwards? That's my fear, because if you send it in, right, and let's say that your turnaround time is 3 to 4 months at best, I mean, you're probably talking more realistically 6 to 8, if not that, even longer. The turnaround time is what's going to scare me because of how much it could drop in the meantime. So that is my only fear with that. But hypothetically, if it froze at these prices, I would see it as definitely a good opportunity, but that's if it froze at these prices. I picked up many of these gold card Greninja for $1 as I could. I mean, what's the BGS on it? I mean, if we want to like take a look at what the BGS is, I'd be interested to see what that population is, because I'd be way more intrigued to go the BGS route and see what the population report is on it. Population report. No records found. No, nothing? Are you kidding me? What if I just type in Sword and Shield? Why is it not working? What if I just look Pokemon up? Why is this not working? What is this nonsense? Okay, so I can at least look up promo. Oh wow, is it even popping up? I'm not seeing it even pop up when I look up promo. I don't even think there's a population on it. So if I just look up Sword and Shield promo, how does that pop up? Okay, well that's nice. Wow, love it. Crash. Sick. Yeah, I'm not seeing it even pop up, man. I gotta wonder what the PSA... I mean, you gotta assume there's a PSA of it, or a Beckett of it. I don't know if Beckett will work or if I just type BGS. Sold items? Yeah, I'm not even seeing it show up for Beckett. Wow. Huh, interesting. That could be interesting. Yeah. Who wants to own all of the population report for Beckett on this card? For $1, I would all day. Where you buy for $1? I'm high on Celebration promos, Arceus V, Stained Glass Birds, and Revolutions. I am high on those, a lot of those promos as well. Dude, it's selling for $2 right now if you go buy it on TCG Player. And obviously certain ones, it's like free shipping over a certain amount. So, you know, $2.26, you just buy all 6 of them. You do listings with 4 or more is usually how I like to do it. Obviously this is $3.49. So, I mean, $2 to $3. Did it ever, I'm curious, what was its lowest point it got to? $1.68, $1.71, $1.90? So you're looking at spending around $2 to $3 on it. How many are there? How many pages of it are there? Ha, someone's got it for 8 though. I mean, honestly, considering the fact that if I go 4 or more, if someone really wanted to run up the price, look at the volume on this, guys. You could easily buy this out for a couple $100 in a coordinated effort to like buy out and just hit that 498 point and then sell it at that. So if someone wanted to make a double the profit real quick before fees, interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's definitely an argument to be made. This is extremely undervalued, and you just talk about a buyout. I don't know, just a thought. Thanks for your response, King. I appreciate you and all you do. Yeah, of course, my guy. What singles do you recommend investing in? Singles that, well, it depends on what your whole plan is. Your plan singles that you plan to grade? Is your plan singles that you just want to keep raw? What I guess that's my first question, Tay, and then I'll go from there. For sealed Japanese product, should I just ask you on your Discord PM rather than here? Brad, if I were you, go to Discord. Go to our Discord and then go to Q&A section. And then basically people will be more than helpful at responding to that. If not, you can always ask people in the chat here. They're also very good at answering these kind of questions. We have a very knowledgeable follower base. Do you own... But I personally usually would buy from Nin. I know some people buy from Amazon Japan, eBay Japan. So, do you own a Charizard First Edition raw graded? Or what is your most expensive card ever owned? Ooh, that I ever owned. That I ever owned or that I currently own? I don't own... I've sold most of my expensive cards at this point. But the most expensive card I've ever owned was a... Lugia First Edition PSA 9 was probably my most expensive card I ever owned. I do not own any Charizards. I used to own a base set unlimited Charizard, but I sold that one a while ago. It was only in an 8, so it was only worth like, I think I sold it for $600, so nothing crazy. God, I mean, raw, it's hard to say, man. It's hard to say raw, because like if you go raw value, obviously we're talking about the fact that you've got like, you know, a Charizard, like a shiny Charizard from Hidden Fates. But then if you want to talk about like some of the cards that I'm sending in, that if they hit 10s, what they could be worth, that's where it becomes extremely difficult, right? Because it's like, for example, I've got this Dialga level X I'm going to send in. I think it's going to hit a 10. It's worth around $2,000+ if it hits a 10 based off of recent sales. So it's like you can go off of that. You know, I've got a Gengar level X that I think could potentially hit a 10. That one also sold recently for like $1,600 to $2,000. So it's like, once again, going off of that. I've got a Charizard from Platinum Arceus. I think that one sold for $5K or something crazy like that. No, I've got a Leafeon Holo. That one sold for... I want to say, I think $3K is what I said. I have a buyer that would line up and buy it from me for. So it's like I have a bunch that like raw to like graded that would be worth quite a bit. So like that pile of cards, I mean, if hypothetically if they all hit 10s, it'd be worth over, you know, 30 to 40K. But you know, it's probably gonna be realistically worth more like, you know, anywhere between 10 to 20. Depending upon how my luck is. But I only picked out the cards since it's $30. I only picked out the cards that I said to myself, I'm willing to take a risk on because they have a high chance of a 10. Travis, what's up, Trav? How we doing, my guy? We detom my I don't know what that even means, but John boy, how late am I? You were late by 1 hour and 3 minutes and 5 seconds, my guy. What the frick? Hey, I need to message you after this, John boy. If you want to message me after this, we need to set up a time to talk. I've been so busy, I haven't been in communication with you recently. I had some things I want to go over with you. You're almost 1 hour late, bro. Be better, right? No, I'm just kidding. What's up, Professor Rowan? BGS Pop Report is trash. Well, yeah, yo, I mean, to be fair, I'm not the biggest fan of like PSA Pop Report, but when I go and look at BGS Pop Report, then I'm just like, okay, this is what a bad one really looks like. Revolving Skies is reprint this fall for booster box. Is that correct? Yes, it is correct, Peyton. It is expected to be this early August. If I wanted to buy sealed packs during the recession, which era should I look at that won't fall too hard, but will climb when the recession corrects? Ooh, that's a great question, Zach. That won't fall too hard? That's a hard one to predict because obviously, you know, we don't know what's truly safe. If you're talking about probably won't fall too hard, if I'm being completely honest, just the first thing that comes to mind is EX era. EX era will probably fall, of course, because everything's going to fall. However, I think it'll hold up probably the strongest. Because WotC era, I mean, other than specific ones like, you know, Neo, but even Neo took a huge dive. Like, you know, Neo Genesis. You know, if you're talking early WotC era, like, you know, Gym Heroes, Gym Challenge, Fossil, Jungle, Base Set, all these ones are a lot heavier printed than people realize, and which is why there's so many like out in existence, because everyone was holding it back then because they thought the same way we did nowadays. But everyone doesn't have that mentality or think about it because the internet wasn't super prevalent in the early 2000s, and so we can't go back and like look at YouTube videos and like, you know, the hype mania other than the like ads that people put in local news sites. But so it's like, it's really hard for me personally to say that those ones are gonna perform well when they're so like, there's such a large population report. So, and then with Diamond and Pearl, although I'm a huge fan of Diamond and Pearl, I actually think there's an argument to be made. There's an undervaluing of the packs. Like, they're undervalued as it stands right now, but I think they're probably going to drop even more, because the fact is that Diamond and Pearl era was an extremely under like valued era. A lot of people like did not invest in Diamond and Pearl. There's a very low population report, and so like the rate of return on opening is going to be greater, because as long as, you know, the cards themselves remain low pop. But I expect, because the low demand, relatively speaking, compared to other generations, and now people might say to me right now, Eli, what do you mean low demand? Like, the level X's are popping off in 10s. Well, I think that's really just because of Diamond and Pearl remakes, Arceus, and so on and so forth. That's bringing nostalgia into it, and that's like bringing up the value of these older cards. You'll probably see the same thing happen when they do a black and white remake. So with that all being said, I think that EX era, strong era, it was undervalued for a while because of the fact of the matter that it just was a era that was, you know, at the decline of Pokemon after the hype had kind of died out, and it was right before the recession is when it finished with like Dragon Frontiers and Power Keepers. It's held really strong. It's performed really strong because the nostalgia hit on it is extremely high, considering Gen 3 is arguably one of the best, you know, at least it's a top 3 gen. I personally think, I mean, if we're being objective, I know my favorite's Gen 4, but if we're being objective, it's probably number 1 or number 2. So EX is probably going to hold the strongest, I would say, and perform extremely strong long term. Travis, my boy, $10. Oh my god, my face, it's breaking. Thank you so much, dude. What do you think the best way is to handle bookkeeping, and what tips would you give for tracking your profit expenses? I tried QuickBooks, but I had issues, and now I'm considering doing it manually in Excel. So I mean, so here's the thing, Travis. It really comes down to a couple of things. One, how big a volume are you doing on this? Two, it says you try QuickBooks. Did you do QuickBooks manual? Did you do QuickBooks online automated? Because here's the deal. Obviously, I hire my accountant to do all of the finances for me. However, they are responsible. Everything that they do for my finances is run through QuickBooks online. And so I'm able to visually go see what they're doing through QuickBooks. So I would say that personally, if you can give another try, I would say, you know, QuickBooks manual, try and watch some tutorials on it. However, if you're like, I have very low sales volume for what you're doing and you're flipping, then you probably could do it manually in like an Excel spreadsheet. It's up to you on which route you want to go. Just from my own personal experience, I've done the Excel route. QuickBooks has a lot of other features that allows it to be extremely easy. But if you're someone who's like, you know, I just like doing Excel, it's super easy for me, then I mean, you can easily do your own programming. I mean, John Boy is a huge fan of Excel, so he doesn't need QuickBooks. And John Boy's an accountant as well, so he's your man for that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, just whatever's the easiest for you is kind of what my answer would be. QuickBooks isn't for you, then just go the standard Excel route. And if it's one of these things too where it's like, it's super easy with Excel, man. I mean, if let's say I want to open Oh, how do I want to do this? So we'll just go, I'm just going to go to this untitled spreadsheet. I'm just going to copy this for now, just because these were the winners for the video, and I don't want to lose this because I'm going to make this announcement later. But I want to use this spreadsheet. So we'll copy this. So let's say, for example, right? Let's say that I bought a product. I don't know. We'll say base set, sword, shield, ETB. This is just rough. You can do it this way. Or actually, let's say this. We can say product. You know, you can go product. You can go. You can say what your general cost is. And so general cost could be, you know, including fees for like shipping, general value of the box itself. So let's say, for example, going back to it, sword, shield, base, or there's two different variations. Let's go vivid voltage ETB, right? And let's say that the cost it took for you to buy it, right? We'll say buy cost. Let's say you got it for $31. I know some places that are selling it for that much, so I think that's a good one, right? And then let's say that, you know, 5 years down the road, you want to sell this item. And you can continuously add on to this. There's algorithms you can add on in Excel. You can use, of course, as well. You can calculate your dollar cost averages on it. That's another good one to use. But let's just say for the sake of this, that you only bought one, right? And now let's say for the sake of this argument, it's worth $100, right? Well, let's now say that you want your gross sales. So your gross sales is going to be calculated as whatever you sell it for. Let's say TCG player is worth $100. You sell it on a TCG player for $100. And then you go fees. Let's say, you know, at the time we'll make the argument and say the fees are still around 15%. You can probably have an algorithm that would calculate it to where it basically takes your gross sales 15%. So, I mean, 15% is going to be $15, but just for the sake of this, we're going to just say 15%. And then let's say that your shipping cost, and shipping cost would include shipping label. We'll just say shipping cost is $9, and then we'll say supplies cost. Supplies expenses. We'll say that took and cost $4, and then you'll say net sales. Your net sales is going to be, you know, 15 plus 9 plus that's going to be 13 plus 15, that's 28. 100 minus 28 equals 72. So there it is, your total, and then you can say your profitability rate. So we can say like profit percentage. You can just calculate that real quick, real easy. You know, $72 divided by 31, because that's how much you bought it for. Your profit was a 2.5x return, or 2.3x return. So basically, you doubled your money. I don't know why I'm typing return. You doubled your money plus 30%. So realistically, it's basically 130% return. But that's like a rough way of how you could go out and do it. If let's say you're just selling on something like TCG Player. So, and I mean, obviously that's a great profit. So that's how I would say I would do it that way. If you're, and obviously this is just, like I said, this is the rough way in which I'm doing it. You yourself can totally lay it out whatever way is easiest for you. If you want to do research, you can also look up algorithms that'll just calculate all this for you, so we won't have to manually type everything, and just certain boxes will have everything calculated at the end of the day. But yeah, that's just it if you want to do it. And if, let's say, you're someone who only has X amount, and if you wanted to, like I said, you can add in dollar cost average, so that you can say that the dollar cost average you sold your ETBs for. Because let's say you bought one ETB for $34, and then you bought another one for $41, right? And then you bought another one for $50, and you're constantly like dollar cost averaging, right? So then you're saying 31 plus 34 plus 41 plus 50. divided by 4. There's your dollar cost average, $39. Then you can calculate, once again, doing the same exact thing. Just say, all right, let's say I sell all of them for that $72 price point. My new dollar cost average is $39. No, that's still, you know, an 84. That's still an 84% return. You know, it's not bad. Not bad at all. So that's just other ways you can calculate it. So, and like I said, obviously I did the manual route, but there's algorithms that you can use to just calculate dollar cost averages. Easy. Holy crap, I need to go back because I am behind after answering Travis's question. But hopefully that answered your question well, Travis. Dustin, hey Eli, I found your channel and by chance and really enjoy your inside information. Thank you for the great content, being such a cool guy. Hey, I appreciate that, Dustin. Thank you. What's up, Anvil? How we doing, brother? Hopefully all is well with you. Yeah, I've been seeing Jungle Set first edition for as low as $230 on packs on eBay. Be really cool to buy one and pull one of the Eevee Evolutions, especially the Flare Hand. Oh yeah, buddy. I think that those are going to go way cheaper, Gabriel. I think prices on WotC are going to go down a lot, especially with Panic. Because I see a lot of older product popping up that usually wouldn't pop up because people are panic selling. Gen 3 is so sick. I played Sapphire a lot as a kid. The introduction of the abilities was huge. Gen 3, Sapphire was my first game I ever played. So I have a lot of nostalgia to that one. Do you think Pokemon could surprise you on how well it performs through the session, possibly since it is popular boom? I mean, of course, it could totally surprise me. It could surprise me on how good it performs. It could surprise me on how bad it performs. There's definitely a way in which I can be surprised, you know, any which way. I think the real question ultimately is going to be, what does that like bar of performance look like for myself? For me, if I'm still able to make 10% to 20% off of general booster box sales, then that's kind of what my expectation is for upcoming during the recessionary period. Now, if that changes and it's like I'm still able to make, let's say, you know, certain sets 50 to 100%, then I will be mind blown. If it goes lower than that, then I'll be sad and scared. Just because then it's like, all right, well, I can't make money anymore. How am I going to do this? Because as a business owner, it's a lot different. I'm not on a W-2. I'm a sole proprietor, so I'm running everything myself. I wish Gen 3 had physical special splits that introduced in Gen 4. Well, they did do a remake, to be fair, Lord Narwhal. So I think they introduced that in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Thanks for the financial advice. Hey, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. It's just my own opinion. All right, Eli, follow-up question. In which 3 packs from EX Era are you buying right now? I'm not buying any EX Era packs right now. Like I said before, only packs that I'm buying are Diamond and Pearl. I'm buying a lot of Diamond and Pearl because, like I said before, I think there's a disconnect between the prices of the cards compared to how cheap you can get the packs for. However, if you're telling me which ones I like, oh god, this is a hard one. This is a hard one because a lot of them are extremely expensive still. I mean, if we just want to go sealed product, right? And let's just go Dragon Frontiers. Dragon Frontiers. Extremely high demand set. How's the value of the packs been? There's your answer. It's been flat. It's performed extremely well. Booster Box, I don't even think we're going to see a sales history on it. Yeah, the scarcity of Dragon Frontiers is extremely low. There's like very little sales history, right? Versus if we go like sealed product, let's go Power Keepers. I think Power Keepers actually might have some history. And you have seen a slight decline, but nothing crazy. 247 to 155. Ooh, that's actually pretty nice. I like to see that. When you see an arrow like this is just an arrow you should get excited about. So there's Power Keepers. Power Keepers could be a good one. How about Booster Box sales? Booster Box sales, 8,000, 770, 8,000. Let's go Power Keepers Booster Box. Yeah, just a bunch of people that are high on something that really think they're going to be able to get that much, but they're not. Yeah, not a lot of sales. But the pack value, that's what interests me more. The pack value for Power Keepers is going down. And if you want to take a look at what Power Keepers is, for those that are unfamiliar with EX, although Dragon Frontiers is my favorite because Shiny Mew, this is one of my favorite Pokemon cards of all time. I mean, Power Keepers is still an amazing set. I mean, God, they... how do you not love these gold stars? Gold stars on them are gorgeous. It comes with the Charizard. I love this EX artwork for the Salamence. Absolutely is sick. You got the reverse holo stamps with the Pikachu, Flygon, Ninetales. I mean, Power Keepers, Metagross. Power Keepers is one of my favorite EX era sets. It's a gorgeous set. It is a gorgeous set. So many cool cards to pull. So many cool cards. Value of the packs. I mean, let's actually go take a look and see if that's correct. EX Power Keepers Booster Pack. Let's see what the value. I mean, this is light, so obviously you have a Wade. See if we have any active sales that are selling recently. So you have people putting their listings at... Here, let's go to Seal Product. That's another thing, too. You also want to take into consideration what the sale card was. Like, is it light? Is it not light? So this is 185, 155, right? That's good to see. 185, 155. Those are the two most recent. So let's see if we can find what those two were. Because we saw it sold light for 97, right? This is 157. Let's see. Is this light? What is the deal with this one? What's the description? Solid. Doesn't say. Okay, so this doesn't say if it's light or not. And then we don't have another one. Where's that 188 one that we're not seeing? Interesting. Yeah, we're not seeing the other 188. So we're just going off of this one. We don't know how that is. One thing I will tell you though, auctions, bro. If you ever do buy this kind of stuff, auctions. You can get so many cheap packs for auctions. That's you. If you're trying to make the most money off of selling old packs, don't ever do an auction because it will go under. It like 9 times out of 10 does. Auctions are for people that are patient. Buy now, and the sales are for people that are impatient. But what's another good set? I mean, I'd love to see if EX era packs go down. That'd be huge. I mean, although I do love Crystal Guardians, it makes me wonder how that's performing. Crystal Guardians, such a good set. Here, let's pull this open so we can just keep it on one page, and then we go Sealed Product, and then we go Crystal Guardians. I gotta imagine that EX Crystal Guardians packs are probably worth... They're going up. Doesn't look like they're slowing down. Yeah, that was my fear with Crystal. I had a feeling Crystal was going to be performing well. I'm not even going to bother with... Should I bother with the Axis? Should I bother? Let's look at Holland Phantoms first. Alright, Holland Phantoms. How's this one doing? It's going up. A lot of these EX era packs are still going up. So it's hard for me to say. When you say top 3, I will tell you that the watching the downward trajectory of Power Keepers intrigues me. That definitely intrigues me a lot. What about Delta Species? How's Delta Species doing? I mean, that's just extremely overinflated. It looks like EX packs are kind of on the rise. Yeah, I mean, Deoxys is probably just a skyrocket upwards. Oh, honestly, huh. Not too shabby, things considered. EX Dragons, arguably one of the best art designs that they've ever put on a booster box. EX Emerald, oh, who would have guessed it? Oh, EX Emerald, okay, that's interesting to see. EX Fire Red Leaf Green. EX, haha, Hidden Legends. This one's probably, I don't know, I'm actually curious. And Legends is probably one of the worst sets from EX era. It's kind of bad. Legends Maker. Yeah, I don't know, man. So, I mean, my kind of recommendation, because I've spent way too much time answering your question, is go through, look at the sets that you think, or that you see potentially having some wavering in the charts. If it's just a straight up arrow, I think now's not the time to buy. If you are seeing a downwards arrow, then I would say be patient, watch auctions. But you can still find good deals on high demand sets that are in an up arrow formation on the chart. It's just really focusing on the auctions. So just to kind of let you know what my strategy is for myself, Zach, what I like to do is huge diamond and pearl fan. I know what the market value is for all those items. With that being said, I find items that are on auction. I follow those auctions. I watch the prices. I have a set price that I'm willing to buy. If it goes to above that price, walking away. If it sells for lower than that, if I put in my auction. So the cool thing about eBay is, let's say that there's 10 seconds left, right? And the current bid's at $70. If you type in 120, what it does is it automatically bids for you up until 120. So if the price is, let's say, $80, right? And the next highest bid, when you put as your 120, it'll put you at 82. Let's say someone wants to bid up to 84. Well, guess what? They'll bid to 84. It'll auto bid for you to 86. So you can make it and set it to where you're willing to walk away at a certain price point. Max is what you're willing to spend. And you could potentially get it for cheaper, or if it's for more, not worth it for you. And that's what I tend to do, right? So there'll be times where, you know, auction for a booster pack is like $50 at this current time. I say most I'm willing to spend is 85 because this pack's market value is worth 90 to $100, right? So I want to get at least 10% to like 7% under market value. And then it ends up selling for $70. And I'm like, yo, I just got it for 30% under market value. Big poggers. And so for that reason, there's a way in which you can do it to where you can still get it under the appropriate market valuation. So that's kind of the way I would approach it. But also, like I said before, I'm only buying to open. And if you're buying to keep sealed, then I don't think there's really a rush right now, with especially what's going on potentially with, you know, the recession on the loom. I'd be doing relatively large volume, like hopefully at least 10 sales a day. Hey, that's not bad. Well, yeah, if you're only doing 10 sales a day, that's still pretty easy, I would say. I would say that's still pretty easy there, good sir. You could do like I was demonstrating with Excel, and do this just 10 times, but create an algorithm for yourself. Do you think sets like Brilliant Star and Evolving Skies will ever go up like 500%, let's say in the next 5 to 7 years? Feels like today's sets will never hit as high as old school sets. Well, 500% is not 500% is not anywhere comparing to some of the old school sets. Because if you're telling me, right, you bought an old school set in 1999, right, or 2001, you bought it for that MSRP price. I mean, we're talking 10,000 plus %, right? Do I think that it could go up 500% within 5 to 7 years? Oh yeah, I think it could go up 1,000%. And the reason why I can say that so confidently is because let's take a perfect example or a perfect look at a set such as, okay, first off, let's do some math here, guys. 5 to 7 years back in time. Let's take the higher end of that. What is 7 years from now? That's around 2015. What Pokemon sets came out in 2015? Well, if we just go to Pokemon card set release dates, let's just take a look and say to ourselves, in the Pokemon TCG expansion, what sets came out in what time? So if we go through history, 2015 is around our kind of era. All right, so going back to 2015, we can see that if you had invested in a Generations ETB, let's say you bought it MSRP $50, you would have made over 1,000%. If you invested in an Ancient Origins booster box, which you could at some places find for as cheap as $75, I want to say. Let's say you bought in for Ancient Origins. I just recently bought one for the break. I bought it for, I think, $760. So, perfect math. I said, let's say you get it for as cheap as $76, $760. You're talking about 1,000x return, or 1,000% return, 10x return. I mean, you've got obviously Steam Siege, which is on the lower end of things. Evolutions were as cheap as $80. Sold for $1,200. You're talking about a 1,500% return. If you would invested in Team Up, I mean, this came out 3 years ago, dude. 3 years ago. If you invested in Team Up, you're talking about, once again, over 1,000% return, and that was in 3 years. So, saying 1,000%, 100%, it's totally possible. However, one thing I want to preface with this is, for me, obviously we talk about time in a way because, with time, scarcity increases over that time period. But one thing I want to make very clear that's important for you guys to truly understand is, for me, it really comes down to the market cycle booms that I care about the most. So, like, for example, we had the Pokemon Go bubble that happened in 2016. You saw prices start to rise, and then you saw the recessionary bubble that occurred, or that just is about to occur after COVID, or the COVID bubble, whatever you want to kind of call it off of. And with that, you saw a huge amount of increase in product prices. The next step in that is going to be our next whatever bubble it is for Pokemon, probably in the next, 3 to 5, 5 to 7, depending upon how bad this recession is. So you're basically just waiting until that next bubble happens. Of course, hypothetically, your product will gradually go up over time. But as far as it goes, you're really just waiting for that explosive growth period after, the Pokemon has kind of gone out of its bear market cycle. That's kind of how the way in which I like to look at it. So yeah, to answer that question, 100% could totally see that with Evolving Skies specifically, and even Brilliant Stars. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw within the next 5 to 7 years, Evolving Skies went to $500 to $1,000 for a booster box. Sounds crazy, but 5 to 7 years is a long time. I mean, you guys got to think about this. What's happening in 5 years from now? We're having the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. That's like crazy to think about. That's what 5 years is in the short span of this era. In 5 years, we're going to be 2 eras in the future. So in 5 years, we're going to be past Scarlet and Violet, and we're going to be past the next generation after that. So it's like, guys, 5 years is a long time in the grand scheme of things for Pokemon. How do you feel about Astral Radiance Greninja being undervalued? I was thinking about sweeping TCG player, but people have tons listed. Single card is a pain. It's just hard, Anvil, for me when you're talking about a buyout on that card, because it's such an easy card to pull. And like you were saying, since it is such a newer set, it's the most recent set. If you're trying to do a buyout strategy, okay, so here's the deal. I've never done a buyout before, but you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand when the best place is to do buyouts. And you can do it no matter your budget, honestly. How I like to look at buyouts is I like to look at it in twofold. One, how many listings are there for a certain card? If there is a low amount of listings on this card, and and there has to be a fine balance. Like, if there's only 10 listings, that's one thing, obviously. But if there's only a couple pages, then there's an argument, and there's the spread between the value of the packs, or the spread between the value of the card themselves. That's where you can make the argument for where a buyout opportunity is. So, for example, right, you take a look at the spread on this. If you were to go buy up everything up until the point of $4.95, And then everything in between, because obviously this is just listings with 4 or more. But everything in between that, because you talk about 19 plus, but let's be honest here, guys. There's a lot of in-betweens. You could probably get it to a point of where your dollar cost average for listings of 4 or more is, if possible, of course, you can get it to around, you know, if you're buying multiples, $3.50 to $4. Now, is that something that becomes worth it at that point? Because what's your buyout like proposition? Where are you trying to buy it out to? Because if you start buying at $4.95, $4.47, your dollar cost average position, if we were to stop at this guy because he's got 230 at the $5 buy volume point, it doesn't become profitable anymore. So you want to find a way in which you can have a lower, because this 230, this is why you would never buy out, because this 230. The volume's just not worth it because there's such a huge, you know, sell wall at 230. Now, I had talked about this before. I don't think it's viable anymore, but I had mentioned for Astral Radiance, if we want to go back, I said the Lilligant had a very low amount listed. I mean, we look at the pages on page 4. I mean, sure, you can go to page 4 on it. And if you talk about the spread from low to high, you know, average TCG player price from low to high on all these listings, you know, it's around that 27, 28, and I mean, some listings as high as 30, to where it's not worth it anymore to buy it out unless you're buying everything completely out, which it's totally possible considering there's such a low amount being listed. It depends how extreme you're trying to go with buyout opportunities. So there's just so many different ways that you can strategically calculate a buyout, like they were doing with the alternate art. So, I mean, God, look at Sneasel, man. Look at how Sneasel's been. So, and the listings, of course, have increased because of it. So, just I would say, for your strategy of undervalued items that you think should be corrected through TCG player buyouts, I would say 1, look at the sell volume, how many are in there. 2, look at the spread if you were to buy all of them. And then 3, calculate your total overall cost if you were to buy it with yourself or with a group of people. That's kind of what I would say if you're trying to do that. Old school Pokemon collectors, all in all, surprised how well Modern is performing. Era sought after all the alt arts. Yeah, I mean, the alt art designs definitely really brought a whole new element to the game for sure. Modern just looks and feels better. Yeah, I can totally see what you mean by that. There's definitely a wider appeal for the art nowadays. I'm actually loving the trainer galleries. Not only do they look sick, but they're easier to pull. Yeah, no, everyone's a huge fan of... I mean, my favorite is Cosmic Eclipse, so I definitely thought it was awesome when they brought it back, specifically with Brilliant Star, but, I mean, that Garchomp, man. I love that Garchomp. Feels strong having popular alt arts coming out around the 25th anniversary boom. Yeah, for sure. Pokemon has all the opportunities to push popularity. Isn't Netflix coming out with a Pokemon series? I'm not 100% certain, but I think so. You think Jungle First Edition is going to go lower than 230? I'm going to be saving my money for when that happens. Oh, yeah, dude. Also not taking financial advice, right? Oh, yeah, I definitely think Jungle could take a huge wipe. I mean, gosh dang, man. So here's one thing to take into consideration there, Mr. Gabriel. So if we go to eBay right now and we go Jungle First Edition booster box. A Jungle First Edition booster box. Let's take a look at this one. Looks like it's got a little bit of edge wear, but nothing crazy. So this right now is selling for $8,000, but it's a Dutch one. Do we have an English variation? Dutch, English, English, English. I want to see what the most... That's Portugal. See what we can find. But this is one bid. Why is there one bid on this? What's the seller's rating? That's the real question. 248's not bad. Am I reading this wrong? That's weird. Why did it only sell for 7K? Only one bid for 7K? That's interesting. One bid for 9K. One bid for 9K. That's Portuguese. That is first edition. 9K, one bid. 9K. We'll just say this. Here's what we'll do. Sake of the argument, we'll say it's selling for 9K right now, right? $9,000 divided by 36. That comes out to not right. Thank you, calculator. Stop being broken. So that comes out to $250 if you were to buy it straight unweighted. If we just go first edition booster pack, obviously you're talking about 238, 189. This is probably a weighted 200, 200. I mean, these are obviously all over the place, of course, on more than likely being weighted. So it really comes down to how much you trust the seller on the transparency. That's why some people like to look at sale listings for scales. So I guess the question is, are you trying to get heavy or not? Because that's where it becomes kind of difficult. Koga says, yeah, definitely not buying Diamond and Pearl because you're a hardcore Gen 4 fan and everything, purely investment purposes. Hey, it's a mix of both, dude. I mean, like I said before, I think Gen 4, there's an issue right now with Gen 4. Because think about it this way, Koga. So think about it this way. So I knew a guy on eBay who was breaking open his booster box worth of Great Encounters packs. And I bought about 20 off of him, right? I was buying them for $84 a piece, and I bought 20 of them. Market price for the Great Encounters booster box, we don't even know because there's not a sale for it. So I spent in total $1,680. Well, you're saying to yourself, okay, out of 20 packs, odds are it's a 1 in 4, I think. Is that right? Hold on, 36 divided by 12. It's a 1 in 3 that I'm going to get a holo. So if I say about 20 packs divided by 3, odds are that I'm going to at least hit around 7 holos. And of course, level X is 1 in 36. From that, I pulled this Dialga, which in a 10 pays for itself. I have pulled a lot of really nice rare reverse holos. I have pulled a Cresselia holographic. I have pulled... Here, let me show you. Actually, just so we can, because I wanna make a point with this. I have pulled not 1, not 2, but for some odd reason 3 Sceptile holos, and then on top of that as well, I've pulled 2 Swampert holos, and then I have also pulled a Tangrowth holo, a Latios reverse holo. So with that being said, do the math, right? With the Dialga and the Sceptile and the Swampert, that is 4, 5, 6. With the Tangrowth, that's 7. And then I have other ones I've pulled as well from this era that I'm not grading. So all in all, I've actually pulled around, from buying from him, I've pulled around 9 holos. So I beat the odds on that. But let's say for the sake of the argument, I pulled 7, right? Sceptile holo and a PSA 10 sells for 500. Dialga level X sells for over 2K. Swampert sells for around $400, $350 or something like that. And then you're talking reverse holos as well. If I spent that much money, right, and I'm weighing them because I know the packs, I know the pack weight. If I'm saying to myself, 7 of these are going to hit, 13 of them are not, well, I've resold a couple of my Great Encounter packs as it stands. I think I've resold about 4 of them for around the same price I bought it for after fees. I'm talking more or less it's, I mean, 84 times 0.85 minus 4. Realistically, my dollar cost average is going to be around $68, we'll say, right? Times that by 13, we'll say, equals 884, right? We had calculated that I had spent $84. Calculate that times 20 equals 1,680 minus 884, 796. So if I weighted out all the packs, I know what's more than likely going to be a heavy or not. My calculated profitability rate is I need to at least hit $796 in value, not including whatever it is for grading fees. Let's say I send in all 7 of my holos, right? Because I think that all 7 of them hypothetically get a 10. Well, it's $31. We'll say 220 just to add in extra fees. Oh no, 796 plus 220. Equals 1,016. That's how much I need to get on a 10. So that means that basically what needs to happen is I calculated that I need, out of those 7 on average, I need at least more or less 2 of them to hit. Actually, no, I only need 1 of them to hit a 10. I only need 1 of them to hit a 10. If the level X hits a 10, already double my money, not including it. Because if we go right now, right, and we go take a look at Great Encounters, and we see what the PSA 10 value is, right? Sold for 2,000, sold for 1,926. This is outdated. I think this sold recently for 1,200. Sold for 500. This is outdated too. This recently sold for 500. There's a Swampert that recently sold for 350. So let's say that for the sake of this all, because I have all these Skeptiles, let's say that I have 3 Skeptiles. Let's say 1 hits a 10. Right. Just based off of that, if 1 hits a 10 and all 6 of my other cards hit 9s, they don't hit 10s, I am still in the profit. Because if we go to the PSA 9 valuation for recent sold with the Dialga, 230, each Skeptile, 120. So you calculate that. I've got 2 more. Here's the math. Let's do the math, everybody. So we saw 1,000. It's how much I need to hit. Let's say 1,000. Let's do 120, right? We'll say that's how much I sell for. 120 times 3. That's 360. Then we'll say with the Swampert, it sold for 91. Obviously, we're just going off for recent. We're kind of trusting it. 91 times 2 plus this. That is not right. 182 plus 360. Whoopsie. Not times. Please bear with me. My calculator is broken. So that's 542. And then what? I'm sending in a Tangrowth, which say 80. Plus this card, which is 230. So hypothetically speaking, if they all hit 9s, I'm losing 164. Yep. Off of the 7 cards that I would be sending in this hypothetical situation. However, if one of them hits a 10, just one of them, doesn't matter which one, then I am profiting anywhere between $100 to several thousand. And that's if one hits a 10. And Great Encounters is known for having the best print in the Diamond and Pearl era. If 2 hit a 10, I'm making 500. If 3 hit a 10, I'm making 1,000. And that's not talking about if it's a level X hit. So your rate of return on cards that are high, gradings at 10s, like the grading rate for these to hit a 10 is extremely strong. I'm sending in only my strongest ones. There is a risk to that but my more or less floor, not including fees, is around 164. Is the loss. So at the end of the day, if I hit a bunch of 9s, I will cry myself to sleep. But I'm not anticipating that. I'm anticipating I'll at least get 110. If I get 110, bada boom, bada bing, I'm good. And to my knowledge, the actual the 10 hit rate, I think it's 60% for Great Encounters is what has been calculated by other YouTubers that I watch, that I follow when they send in stuff. So if you're saying Great Encounters 60% rate, I've got 7. That means there's a chance that 3 or 4 are going to get 10s. I'm expecting to at least make a return of anywhere between $500 to $3,000 of profit. So large breakdown, but just something that I thought would be fun to kind of go through on how I calculate buying and selling things. What's up, my guy? The audio seems to be sounding a little bit better. That's because I'm finally closer to the mic. I'm sorry. Plasma Storm is definitely a great set, Anvil. I think the value of it will go down over time too, and it'll be a good opportunity considering how relatively affordable it is right now. Are Pokemon businesses going to survive during their session? A lot will fail, if I'm being completely honest. I think there's going to be a lot that are going to fail. There's already a lot that are struggling right now, specifically local game stores that are over leveraged, that are just fire selling to be able to pay off credit card fees and other such things. So yeah, I think that you're gonna see a lot of people sell off. Kind of random, but I found a video and it brings me so much joy. This was Eli and his friend over the weekend. What? Wait, no, I can just type this in. Oh, volleyball scene. Oh. Oh my god, it's the volleyball scene from Top Gun. God, as a volleyball player, bro, it's so funny watching them play. Oh my god, the editing on it. Oh my god, it's so funny, cause like like, how do I say this? You can 1000% tell it's stunt doubles because who would have guessed it? Because if you watch when they are like in close-ups, their form is absolutely terrible. Like, their form on how they're playing is so bad. Versus when you see them cut out, the form actually looks really good. And so it's so funny to me. Like, it looks like technical volleyball. And they're like, oh my god, it is so funny. Like, what is that? Like, it looks like Jungle Ball. And then the minute they do a zoom out, that one... Which one was it? It was this scene right here. Like, that actually look... Wait, hold on. I want to zoom it back a little bit. Like, that actually looks like a good handset. And it looks like good volleyball form. So it's like, it's so funny, dude. It's so funny to me. That's so funny. Travis. Interesting. I recently bought a PSA 10 amazing Celebi at auction for $29. Yeah, I remember you saying that, dude. They're available now on eBay. Now several, yeah, dude. I mean, prices, like I said, man, prices are crashing on a lot of these ultra modern sealed product. That's why I'm not a huge fan of it, because they're just going to keep going down. I didn't see the pre-recorded video. So Thaddeus, I ended up deleting it because there was a huge amount of technical difficulty errors, and I just didn't feel comfortable posting it. So I uploaded it, having gone through and thought the file was easy, but come to find out there's about a bunch of audio breaks that for some reason happened. This is the first time that's ever happened. Classic Eli with audio issues. So... You know, it's definitely something I'm disappointed about. I'll try and see if I can re-record it because it was a 40-minute video. So that'd be fun. But yeah, man, I'm sorry about that. But no, this is not impromptu. I mean, it's Tuesday. We always do this. Pokemon businesses should be glad we just had a boom before the recession because that didn't happen in 2008. That's definitely true. So the meta is buying the crappy sets that no one cares about right now for dirt cheap and waiting for 7 years. That is definitely not the meta, because I am 1000% not recommending that, because here's the deal, man. If we're talking that in XY, Flashfire was not a crappy set compared to Steam Siege or Crimson Invasion. So don't buy the crappy sets. Please do not get that from what I am saying. What I am saying is you look at the high demand sets that you're able to get at a really good price. Let's say Evolving Skies goes to 100. If you got it at 100, great. If not, then 110, 120 is not terrible. Or Brilliant Star, 100, below 100, whatever. Those sets will perform well. Because you had opportunities to buy an Evolutions at $80. That would have been a good one. You had opportunity to buy an Ancient Origins at $80. That would have been a good one. You just look at the general sets, and you'll know which one's going to perform well compared to others. Steam Siege performed like crap for a reason. Sure, it's gone up, but, you know, other sets have performed 2 times, 3 times, 4 times as good. So it's really, you got to be really careful with that. So Sword and Shield era, I'm focusing on these high demand sets that I'm able to get at a really affordable price. I mean, Shining Fates is a good example. I think that will perform well. Celebrations product, and so on and so forth. What's up, UT Long? How we doing, brother? If you were looking to buy a raw Shining Fates Charizard, when would you think that would be the best time to pull the trigger? Probably right now. Let's go to... Actually, I think TCG Player will be better for this one. So let's just take a look at Shining Fate's value for this card. And this is going to be a fun one to look at. Actually, you know what? Frick it. We're going to go Polka Data. We're going to go sets, and we're going to... Because they're actually going to have farther history on this. So Shining Fates, if we go TCG Player, the Charizard value on this, historically speaking, look at the value of this long term. So raw, this was at its high going for 850. Look at this curve. It is at $100. This is, arguably speaking, I mean, this is the cheapest time you can buy right now. And for a card like this, I mean, you could technically, you could technically see it go lower than $100, like $75. But I think $100 or below 100 right now is an extremely, extremely good buy. Because at this point, I mean, you're really talking about pushing it. Because here's the deal, guys. This, after a while, after it kind of went down, it kind of went sideways for a while. And it looked like it was actually going up. But then what happened? ETB reprint. What happened with that ETB reprint? Prices went down. It's gone down $30, which is about, what, 20% since then? 25%. So do I think it could go lower? Hypothetically, it could totally go lower. But here's the deal, man. The set's about to go out of rotation from standard. And it's already seen a huge price correction. So the expectation, in my opinion, for this card to really crash much lower, like honestly, like I think $90 to $80, I mean, it could potentially hit there, but I think $100 or around 100, I think that's too good of a price to really pass up. So that's what I would say to answer your question, John. I think now's an extremely good price. Thanks for answering my Radiant Greninja question, Eli. I really appreciate the analysis. Yeah, of course, dude. Alright, all. It's my Windows slip out of work early without anybody knowing, so I'm going to take it. Hey, well, thanks for stopping by, Digi. I appreciate you, brother. What's up, SDC? It's been a while, bro. Hopefully all is well with you. I have several binders of Near Mint First Edition Shadowless through First Edition Rocket. Do you think holding the binders for another 5 to 10 years will appreciate that? It definitely will, I'll tell you that, John. In the next 5 to 10, oh yeah, it's going to appreciate for sure. Not financial advice, not financial advisor, but I would expect that. I'd also really like the Legendary Collection price packs to go down. Really cool reverse hauls you can pull, even the giant booster box top. Yeah, no, I love that set too. I think that's a good example of them doing like these kind of knockoff reverse holos cards. Right. Are there any vintage sets that have a decent price, heavy packish, $100, give or take? That'd be a good buy to open. Itching to buy some older packs? Well, depends on how old you're trying to go, Nate. Like, what is old for you? Is there a certain time? Eli's got to bring back the mustache for Top Gun. Did I tell you guys I saw Top Gun 2? Bro, Top Gun 2 was so good. They did such a good job with it. Man, I will tell you what, the just directing angles in which they did it, like, they did such a good job. The, like, cinematography was, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they won Best Picture, honestly. They did such a good job. Eli is Maverick. Yeah, that's what, that's literally what, Travis says. Travis keeps telling me I'm Tom Cruise. I think that's so funny. Bro, if you want to talk about someone that looks like Tom Cruise, it's my dad. My dad, when he was a kid, freakishly looked so much like Tom Cruise. It's so funny, dude. I played some sand volleyball this weekend. Understand now how sand gets everywhere. Bro, my car is a sand pit. It's so bad. I'm looking to buy a raw to grade myself. The card I'm chasing at PSA 10 is around $100. The card is around $10 to grade. Do you think it's a better investment? Well, here's the question, UT. What is that card specifically? Because then that'll help me answer it for you better. If you had to pick one sealed non-booster box set from Wizard... If you had to pick one sealed non-booster box set from Wizards era to hold, what would it be? I was thinking of getting a sealed starter deck of the current dip. Any other decks? I mean, there isn't really a ton of... I mean, because you're talking Wizards era, man. I mean, I can't really think of a lot of Wizard era product. Because you had your theme decks. You had your Southern Islands. And I think that was... Yeah, you had your Southern Islands. You had your theme decks. You had your standard blister packs. There's not really much I can think of if you're talking in the Wizards era. So it's hard to say. I mean, I like collecting theme decks. I collect theme decks, so I definitely don't think it's bad by any means to pick those up. But at that point, I'd much rather just pick up a pack. $300 plus fees to see how many 10s I get. If you're trying to... I mean... Yeah, what card is it? What card is it, UT? Do you have advice on someone wanting to start selling Pokemon product right now? I've been buying some ETBs and Arceus boxes, waiting on Brilliant Stars and Evolving Skies reprints for long term. Jose, yeah, I actually have a full breakdown video that I do. I have multiple. I would honestly recommend, Jose, going through my channel, and let's see if I can find one in particular. Here, let me go to my channel. Let me go, hold on one quick second, Jose. Let me see if I have any specific one that I can point out for you. Because there was one I did specifically talking about how to play the wave. Because I've done 5 things to consider before investing. That's one I would definitely recommend. That's one I would recommend. And then another one I did is how to make money selling your bulk Pokemon. Investing in Pokemon cards saves you money. Here's how. Those are the 3 I would say. Another one I have is Now the Time to Start Your Own Pokemon Business, but I don't think you need to watch that one. Any other ones I'm talking? No, I would say look at those 3. That's what I would personally recommend. Yo, what did I miss? Oh my god, dude, you missed a lot, Taylor, dude. We're literally into the final. We're in the witching hour, man. We got about probably 5 more minutes of just wrapping things up. Bill Aquapolis. Okay, there. That's a good one, John. What was I gonna say though? Yeah, no, UT Long. What's the card specifically? Because then I can answer your question a little bit better. Gotta go, man. Thanks for the advice, Eli. Everyone, love everyone. Hey, I appreciate you so much for stopping by, Travis, and thanks again for the donation. But thanks for stopping by too, Wisdom. During the Steam, I just bought a Japanese Gold Mew CGC for 81. Do you think? Do you want to rate that price to buy? I'm high on the 25th anniversary Gold Mew. So I would say, John, it's hard, man. It's hard because you know my stance really on celebrations, especially when talking about long-term grading investment, because you can buy a PSA 10 for slightly more and the population is high, and I guarantee you the CGC is higher. But yeah, no, it's hard, man, because a 9.5, I mean, I guess you're paying a little bit. I mean, that sounds about right. I don't know what the actual market value for... Here, let's look at market value before I say anything. How much did you buy it for? You bought it for 81 bucks. Assume that's probably you. Let's see. Does it have subgrades? Does it have subgrades? That's another question I gotta ask. I'm gonna assume no. Or does it? Because that's another thing, man. It's really hard. You got to take that into consideration. Fates Collide booster box for $200. Is that a good deal? That's a stupid good deal. Where the heck are you finding that, dude? Oh, it's your Japanese card? Oh. Did I read this right? Okay, so let me see. Let's see what the value is on the Japanese one. Is that Japanese? It's hard to read. That is not Japanese. Why am I not finding it? I'm only finding English. What the frick, dude? Why am I... I'm not finding it, man. Huh, that's hard. That's hard. Am I looking at the right... No, Patrick, I do think they'll appreciate, they just won't appreciate at a higher rate compared to other sets. But to answer your question, I would not say Fusion Strike or Chilling Rain falls into those categories. Thoughts on Lugia Break PSA 10? I mean, what's the value of it? Jesus loves me. Huh. I mean, you can buy it for $4.58. Huh, interesting. Lugia break? No, it's not bad. I mean, prices have been going down a lot, so it's definitely not bad. It's a popular card, even though breaks were super unpopular. I got my Mew Celebrations 9.5, but TGA graded unknown grader. Is that a good deal? Well, you didn't even tell me what price you got it for, Nightmare. Got it for 50. Gotcha. Oh, it's hard, man. I'm not a huge fan of buying grades from unknown graders. But yeah, you gotta let me know, John, because I don't know what the market value is on these Japs. It's really hard for me to gauge that, if I'm being honest. But guys, I've been going over by 10 minutes, so I'm probably gonna wrap it up. If you do have more questions, feel free to drop it in the Q&A in the Discord. I'll try and answer it. As always, please make sure, guys, if you want to enter into a weekly giveaways, leave a like, comment down below, and then be subscribed. I really appreciate you all so much for stopping by. Seriously, it's always fun doing these Q&As on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We post pre-recorded content Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so hopefully we won't have any technical difficulty issues for Wednesday's video. So sorry once again for that. But as far as it goes, that is all I have for today's video. I gotta get going, eat some